Welcome to the TTC Tribe podcast. I am Sarah and I am here with Kalyn and Robert.
Hello.
Yay. I know you guys through YouTube. And right now you're about to start IVF,
Yes.
right? Or do you count the birth control as starting?
We're counting the birth control as starting just because it's taken so long to get here. So we're just really excited.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, it started.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, so let's start off. Tell everyone about your infertility history and what got you to the point of doing IVF.
All right, so we actually started trying like the day we got married. So that
Which was October 20th, 2012.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it took, maybe like 2 years, and we weren't really, I wouldn't say that we were like really trying, like I wasn't tracking anything, I wasn't taking ovulation tests or anything. But we weren't on birth control.
Yeah.
So we weren't preventing. So then after around 2 years, we're like, you know what, let's start actually trying. Let me start tracking my, what do you call it? Your temperature. And I started doing that, and I noticed that my temperature was all over the place. I couldn't get like any sort of good reading like it should have been. And my cycles have always been really off, so we thought we should go see the doctor.
Yeah.
And we wanted to go, we never actually went to a gynecologist, we went straight to the fertility doctor.
That's probably a good idea to go straight there.
Yeah, I didn't want to waste time. And actually, I learned that from watching Ellie and Jared, because they spent, I think, almost 2 years at their gynecologist. And when they finally made the switch to their fertility doctor, they got pregnant right away.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to skip the gynecologist, and I'm just going to go straight to the fertility doctor. And I think that was probably the best decision, because I feel like if we had gone to just a gynecologist, they would have never tested Robert.
They wouldn't test me, yeah.
And we have male factor infertility as well, we found out.
Yeah. So we went to the fertility clinic, we started testing, and they wanted to test everything. They did testing on me, they did testing on her. What's some of the testing they did on you?
They made sure that my tubes were clear. They did a lot of blood work. They did ultrasounds. But pretty much just from looking at me, he could tell that I had PCOS.
Yeah.
Like, well, not just looking at me, but by looking at me and by
examining,
by talking to me.
Yeah.
Because of, but I don't. The thing is, though, is I don't have a lot of the, I guess,
quote unquote symptoms.
Yeah, like symptoms or side effects from PCOS. Like, I don't have insulin problems. I don't have weight problems. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't look like what people generally think of PCOS.
Right. And really the only thing I have was irregular cycles. I don't ovulate on my own. And the thing that the reason why I say by looking at me is I get facial hair.
Oh, okay.
So he saw that because I hadn't plucked the hairs on my chin, and he was like, do you happen to have like extra facial hair growth? And I was like, yes.
Thanks for asking.
So you can see it.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm glad you noticed.
Yeah, exactly. Glad you noticed. Thanks a lot.
And then they did a semen analysis on me, and they found out that it was very low in the beginning. And low count, low motility, low morphology. And all of that has seemed to change except for the morphology so far.
Well,
okay, I was going to say, isn't morphology the one that you can't really
you can't really
improve?
do anything about that. It's just how it is. But I guess the percentage will improve if your if your numbers go up. So if you have a really low count, then and all of yours are not well shaped, I guess you'll have more well-shaped ones if you have more.
Which makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. There's more, so there's more to pick from.
Right. But then they did blood work on him to see if they could figure out a cause, and they saw that his estrogen was higher than it should have been. So they put him on Femera just like they put me on it.
Weird. I mean, was that weird that you were both on it?
Well, yeah, I pretty much, I came home from the doctor and I was like, I'm pretty much a woman, I guess. So, yeah.
So he ended up being on the Femera for 3 months before we could do anything because they were like, there's no point in doing an IUI if the count isn't good.
Yeah.
And what year was this? Like, what time?
That was 2000, what's it now, 17? So that was 15?
15,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like late 2015 because I
knew it was almost Christmas because our first IUI happened right before Christmas.
The best time of the year to do fertility treatments.
Right, exactly.
He was on it for 3 months and then they had to retest him and see how his count was. And it had gone up and they thought that it was good enough that we could do an IUI.
Well, it had gone up just a little bit. It wasn't like great or anything.
But it was enough.
But it was enough for them to, you know, let's do it. So.
And then, so I was all excited. So we went in and I started Femera at that point. And they just had me on a single pill.
Yeah.
And we're like, yes, this is awesome. Like, we're so excited. And then I went in for my scan and they were like, we don't really see anything. So come back and like keep taking it and come back in like 3 days.
Yeah.
And we went back and they were like, yeah, we still don't see anything. So we have to wait for your cycle. And then we'll try again next month. And I was so bummed because I was like we could find out that we're pregnant and then it would be Christmas and it would be perfect.
Yeah. Could give someone a present with the blow and they'd cry.
I know. I had it all over Pinterest. I was Pinteresting all these ways to like announce like during Christmas, you know?
Now you're gonna have the best announcement.
Right, exactly. So funny story, we actually don't necessarily have an announcement planned yet, but I do have a gender reveal kind of planned. So I'm really excited about that.
Are you going to tell people what it is, or do I have to wait?
Yeah, we decided to go ahead and tell people what gender it is because since we've been foster parents and we've had that guessing game before, we are over it, really.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so we want to be able to plan and buy things that, you know, are for the specific gender. So
if there's a next time, we're going to find out. We didn't find out with Bjorn, and I think it made bonding harder for me.
Yeah.
So
that's what I heard.
I don't know. Next time I would definitely find out the gender. Yeah. So I think that's a good idea on your part.
Yeah.
Fireworks.
That's crazy.
So then after that point, they realized that the one pill was not working, they tripled my dose. So I was taking 3 pills of Femera every day. And that helped. When I went in for my scan, I had 1 large follicle. And they were like, okay, that's good. All you need is 1. So we did that IUI and it didn't work. And same thing so we did another round with 3 pills as well. That one didn't work. And he was like, okay, this time let's try injections. Sorry, we'll try injections. And so we did the Gonal-F, like a low dose. And I think I only did injections for like 3 or 4 days, so it wasn't very long. But it was on top of the 3 pills of Femera a day. And I ended up getting 4 follicles. And at that point, it was on the opposite side that the follicles had always been on before that. So we were like, this could be a good sign. Like, it's on the different side and there's 4 of them. So we were all excited, and then that one didn't work either.
How many IUIs did you end up doing in all?
We did 3 IUIs and then 1 timed.
Okay.
For whatever reason, we thought time was going to work. Actually, we didn't. We just ran out of money.
We didn't feel like we didn't feel like going to the doctors anymore.
Yeah.
And we didn't feel like making it just like this timed thing. Like, it has to be on this day at this time. It just felt so...
It was extremely stressful, and we have a few vlogs about it where we're just stressed out. We're tired of it. We're done with this because we did 3 IUIs 3 months in a row. So that was a lot of stress and a lot of heartache to hear, no, you're not pregnant. No, you're not pregnant. No, you're not pregnant. And I mean, like, the money we were spending was an entire house payment extra a month, you know? So, so it was just too much. We had to stop. Our doctor even said we could do one more, but we were just like, no, that's okay. So.
Okay, so you guys do foster care, and when did you get into that, and what made you make the decision? Because that seems like a very weighted decision to make.
Yeah, yes. Well, to be honest, I never wanted to be a foster parent. I'll just be straight up honest with you. I didn't want to do it because I knew I would get attached. I knew it would hurt when they leave. And I knew us having a kid and then a kid coming in the house, or us not having a kid and then a child coming into the home and then leaving would be extremely hard for us. But I think the more I learned about it, the more my heart grew for the idea of foster care, such as the kids who are from a hard place that need a safe space for a while. You know, my heart kind of grew for that, and then I started learning more about it. We started going to a small group that was only about foster care, and we learned everything there was to know about it, or at least everything we needed to know at the time. And so yeah, we decided to make that leap, and we thought that maybe, and we still think that there's a kid out there for us to adopt out of foster care if they come up for adoption. So
I'll have to give you guys a blog. My friend's sister is a foster mama, and I'll have to give you guys her blog. She doesn't do vlogs, but yeah, that's a side note.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. I've learned a lot from her, and I've learned from both of you about foster care, because I mean, most people don't know really anything about it besides...
That's the truth, and that's why I really, you know, the videos that we put out and things like that, I really feel like they actually help people, because I mean, at least we hear it all the time. Oh, this has helped me, you know, make the decision to become a foster parent or something like that. So
I feel like foster care is just such a, like, when you hear it, it's very like negative. Like, you think that they're all like older kids, like 13 years old, like bad kids that are doing bad in school and are just bad kids.
Well, and even the people who are foster parents, like, you think of Annie, the musical.
Exactly. You think of things like that, or you hear about people all the time, oh, they just do it for the money, you know, stuff like that. You hear about all these negative stories, but the stories of just everyday foster parents who are out there trying to make a little bit of a difference, you know, you never hear about those.
I'm pretty sure the money would not be a...
No, it's not.
It's not a job.
The money for it, at least in our state, is just barely enough to cover the expenses that you spend on the child while they're in the house per month. I think we spent probably at least a couple $100 more a month on the child that came into our house than what we were paid. So
have you had one foster child?
We've had 3. So we had one come in for a little while, and then we had 2 come in just for a weekend.
And
then
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, and Robert, you work for a foster care agency now, right?
Yes.
But it's
I help.
Not the one that you foster through. Is that correct?
No. So the one that we actually started fostering through has decided to stop licensing foster families. So Kalyn and I were actually in the process of switching our license over, and the agency I work for will not license their own employees, so I have to go somewhere else. So because the rules are, you know, there's certain things that an employer cannot and should not ask an employee. And with foster care, they have to ask you all those things.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yes, they go into every detail of your life to become a foster parent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that, So is it pretty difficult to become a foster parent?
It's not difficult. It's just a lot of paperwork.
It's just a long process.
It's almost like buying a house. Like, they're going to come back and ask you more questions. They're going to ask you follow-up questions. They're going to turn in the paperwork, and then maybe the state might ask more questions, so they'll have to come back to you then. They're going to do background checks. They're going to do reference checks. They're going to come in the house, make sure the house is safe. They're going to do, a fire inspection, a lead-based paint inspection. If your house is older than, I think, 72 or 74. So, it's just a lot of things that go into it. They have to make sure that the bedroom for the child is a good, safe space. They go into a lot of background questions. So it's just really very, very thorough. So that's the only thing that can slow down the process, because it is so thorough. But I haven't seen a single question yet that's something I think that is like unnecessary, So
I mean, you're giving someone a child.
Yeah, at least in South Carolina, I haven't seen any abuse of any kind of power at all.
Yeah.
So
I think they do a good job.
I think our licensing people did a great job, and I think our workers, our case workers and things like that, they were very thorough. We got to talk to them anytime we needed to talk to them. So yeah, it's just so sad that foster care gets such a bad rap.
Yeah.
And I was even at Chick-fil-A today because my job, I do these things called pop-ins, and it's just where you go to a location where people already are and you talk to them about foster care, like you set up a booth or whatever. So I was at Chick-fil-A today, and I was asking this guy, do you know anything about foster care? And, can I tell you a little bit about it? And he was just like, no, I don't want anything to do with that. That's, and the idea is that a lot of people have this negative perspective of foster care. And I think that's what we try to do with our videos, is shine light on the positive side and shine light on the difficult side as well. Like, it is difficult. It's hard. There's no way around it. You're taking in a complete stranger into your house. Okay. So it's hard, but it's so worth it. And
the thing to remember is the kids didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
The kids aren't in there. The kids are not in foster care because of anything they did. They're in foster care because of their parents.
Exactly.
So I think that a lot
like, if it was any reason, if it was something the kids did, they would be in juvie. It's not like the kids burned down the house and they went to foster care. No, it's not. That's not the situation at all. Or, the situation, and Kalyn said it right, and I tell people all the time, I was like, these kids didn't wake up and ask to be taken away from their parents. They're going through a hard time. The foster parents are going through a hard time trying to understand what's going on, trying to get them to cope to their new home, their new living situation. But it's really worth it, because if we don't do it, then where are these kids going to go? They're going to end up in the state system somewhere and get lost. So
after our first foster child went home, we were like torn apart.
Yeah.
We fell in love with him so fast. And before we had ever gotten a placement, we kind of had given up on fertility treatments.
Biological children.
And having a biological child, just because the idea of paying for IVF was just, there was no way. There was no way that was going to happen. And so we started, so after he went home, we were like, you know what? We need to try hard to do this IVF thing.
So Ellie and Jared had would you say it was a contest, or...
Well, it was...
They were giving away a grant for IVF.
It was a contest. Yeah, yeah.
And you sent in a video. I really like your video. I am surprised they did not pick you because I thought your video was very good. But
I also do.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great.
It was really hard to squeeze it into 2 minutes. Really hard. Yeah.
And I thought it was a great video, and a lot of people think that you are the grant winners.
I know.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people think we are, and we're like, we don't understand. Like, why?
Well, you're like, no, I didn't win the grant.
Yeah, it's like, no, I didn't. I promise. I won a grant, but not that grant. You know. So.
But would you say that the Ellie and Jared grant is, or the video you put out for it, would you say that that is how you caught the eye of your fertility clinic?
I think it helped a lot. We actually talked to the fertility clinic the other day, and the lady who did give us the grant at the fertility clinic, we asked her, you know, which video did you see, things like that, and she said
it was actually the doctor's wife.
Our doctor's wife.
Who saw our videos.
Who saw our videos, and not even the infertility videos, the foster care
videos.
She saw the foster care video and passed it on to her husband, and her husband passed it on to the financial director at our infertility clinic.
And the doctor's like, wait a minute, I know these people.
Yeah.
Did she just randomly come upon your video?
She did, yeah.
Well, they were thinking about doing foster care.
And she was searching foster care. So I think our video absolutely helped because it has over 20,000 views on it. So it definitely helped drive traffic to our channel and things like that. And maybe she did see that video and then fell in love with the foster care and sent it on, you know. But
I mean, I think that putting videos out is very helpful to everyone.
Yes.
The people who watch it, the person who puts it out, like, you get support from the videos.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you get to meet people, and you get to, like, I wouldn't have met you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't met you in person, but I wouldn't be talking to you now if it weren't for YouTube.
Right. Exactly. And
we wouldn't have a GoFundMe if
we wouldn't have a GoFundMe because the Hickman set up the GoFundMe for us, and they are a YouTube channel. You know, and they set that up for us, and we wouldn't, like,
That's
many
so sweet
people.
Of them.
It is, you know, because we thought about it, but we would have never pulled the trigger on it because we hate asking for money. We actually, I'm kind of jumping around here, but when the Hickman set up the GoFundMe for us, you know, we mentioned it a few times, and then we probably didn't mention it for 7 months or so. Yeah. Until we finally were like, okay, we really need to focus on trying to have a biological child because we want to continue foster care, but we know we need a child that no one can take away from us.
Yeah.
So.
And there's nothing wrong with wanting a biological child.
No, it's not.
I don't know what they look like.
Yeah, it's not even, like, I'm sure, like everyone else, you want to experience pregnancy and everything that comes with that, and, like, I assume breastfeeding.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard to do if you adopt.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about, like, I didn't know this. I don't think it's an invention. I think it's an invention in a movie. But we were talking about, I was like, I should invent this, like, bra thing that you wear that, like, it has the milk in it, so you can hold the baby up to the bra, and it's like you're breastfeeding, but you're not. And he's like, I think that's in, what did you say? Like
some movie. I can't remember exactly.
I don't know.
But
I'm sure it's a thing.
Yeah.
And I have seen people who, there was one lady that she worked really hard at it. She started lactating when she adopted.
Yes, I've heard that people.
I'm sure you've seen.
They'll take different supplements and everything, and yeah, you can get to that point.
It's a very hard thing to do, and I don't think that it would necessarily work for everyone.
Right.
But I just want to make a disclaimer because I'm sure you've had people say on your videos, why don't you just adopt?
Yes. Oh, man. Why don't you just adopt? Why don't you just come up with 20,000 cash and plop it down for me today?
That's, you know? 20,000 for adoption isn't even anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's like bare minimum, you know? So
It's not, I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm half adopted.
Oh, really? No, we didn't know that.
My stepdad adopted me.
Okay. Awesome.
And my adoption was like $25,000 or $30,000.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
When I was a teenager and could consent to the adoption, and my biological father like signed away his rights.
Wow.
And it was still super expensive.
Yeah.
You would think that would be the easiest
That's
form
insane.
of
Wow.
an adoption. So for everyone who says, why don't you just adopt? It's not.
Why don't you just hand me $30,000?
Yeah, you can't just adopt.
No.
It's not, even when it's supposed to be an easy thing, you can't just adopt.
Exactly.
So that could be very frustrating.
Exactly.
No one has ever said that to me, but I'm sure people are thinking of it when they watch my videos on YouTube.
Well, and it's like, I don't think people realize how expensive it is, but then once they do know, it's like, well, that's how much it costs to do IVF, so I'm going to try to have a biological child. But I don't know, for people that kind of say, we have had a few people say that, and I'm like, why don't you do foster care?
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's free.
Do these people have kids? That's what I'm wondering. Like, why don't you just adopt?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's, and we try really hard to ignore all the haters. And we, to be honest, unless we're on some gossip vlog somewhere I don't know about, we don't have a ton. I mean, we get a few every now and then.
People are generally nice on the gossip blogs about you.
Ever since you told me I was on one, I went and searched it, and the only thing I've seen, and this is off tangent, you can edit this out if you want, but the only thing I've seen is someone called us mentally ill and we're not suited for parenthood and stuff like that. Yeah. I've seen that before, so that's no big deal.
We're not like mentally stable to be parents.
Yeah, so...
Why would...
But
I wonder who this person is who says this. Like, and I enjoy reading the gossip.
I do too.
I feel bad about it because I do YouTube.
I never comment.
No, I've never commented, but I enjoy reading it because it's kind of funny.
Is there one out there about you?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm pretty boring.
Yeah, I've never made my own column, but we are like in other people's topics. So
once you make your own thread on there, I think you've made it.
Yeah, exactly. And Kalyn was even talking about, she was like, you should go on there and just start your own thread. Because those gossipers were so far off topic. But those gossipers are like, they are the most devoted viewers you will ever have. I mean, they go back 100 years. They're like, did you see this video at this second from 1992? Golly.
No, you were completely right because they look at videos, like old home videos from the Ellie and Jared.
Exactly,
it's funny, but I mean, having haters helps you. Yeah. Like when you get bigger on YouTube, I don't know. I mean, you guys have passed me up. I just want to say congratulations for that.
Thanks. We just hit 4K, by the way.
Yeah, congratulations. Like in a year, you're going to be at like 1 million or 100,000 or whatever, and you're going to look back saying, "Yeah, we made it to 4,000." You're going to be like, "That's nothing." Well, now we're at 1 million.
Yeah, we never thought we were going to hit 100. We really didn't. When we started YouTube. The only reason we started YouTube is because we were doing the IUI. And Kalyn had kind of put out a couple videos of our weekend and stuff like that. And I wasn't really interested in it. But then when we did the first IUI, I thought in 2 weeks we were going to have a baby.
Like we were going
to be pregnant. So that's when I jumped on board to YouTube. And I was like, we're going to tell everyone about this. And this is going to, like, I'm turning into, what's his name? Clark from the dead from the TV shows.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
What TV show? I'm not sure
Clark
either.
Griswold?
No.
Like from the Family Vacation?
Yeah, Family Vacation. Like, you know how goofy he is?
What is that called?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you know how he's so goofy, and he's like, oh, this is the most amazing thing, and we're going to document it, we're going to have a great family vacation, you know, we're going to have a great family time. And I was like...
He's very Jared-like.
Exactly, yes, he is. So I was like, you know, we are going to document this, this is going to be the best, you know, we're going to have a baby in 2 weeks, and...
2 weeks, the baby's gonna be here. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So, but when we found out, you know, we started posting and we started getting support, and you know, we were in a church here where, I mean, they were popping out babies every other day.
I must say that you guys are both really entertaining, and good. I think that that's a quality that a lot of big YouTubers have, that both the husband and the wife are entertaining, and their dynamic together reminds people of maybe their own dynamic or other couples they know.
We hear that a lot. We hear that, oh, you're just like my husband and myself, or, you know, you're just like us and stuff like that. So we hear that a lot. So I hope that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is, because you're showing a real relationship. Instead of something that is scripted.
This is not scripted. No. This is all real. Now there's a lot of editing involved, just because there's a lot of stuff like that.
Hey, I don't sound
dropping the camera.
Dropping the camera, yeah.
Yeah, so
missing the shot.
Do you remember what your first YouTube video was that introduced you into the world of...
It would have been something Kalyn watched, because I wasn't into YouTube until we started vlogging.
Which is surprising to me, because really? You seem to be the one who's really into it, because it seems like there's like in couples, there's one person who's really into it, and one person's like that. The other person, they just roll their eyes at the other person in the background.
Yes, I watch a lot of vlogs,
and I edit a lot of vlogs. He edits a lot of vlogs.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I edit it every night. Yeah.
I try to get Peter to edit my stuff, and he won't touch it.
Really? Well, you know, when we first started out, like I said, she was doing the editing, and she was doing the videoing, and she was doing everything. And when we got to our first IUI, that's when I got excited. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to be a dad in 2 weeks. I want to document this. So it was something that interests me, you know. So I literally like took the camera from her.
He took over, and now I cannot edit.
I love it.
I would not be able to edit, because he edits really well.
And you guys do wedding videos.
Yeah.
Which is what like caught my eye, I think, with you, because I used to do wedding videos. I don't anymore, but I think that's really cool. And
that was kind of an accident.
Did you get into it after you started YouTube?
Exactly.
Yes. So my cousin got married in April of 2016.
Yeah. And we took this little camera down here that we're filming on right now, G7X, and I just took a bunch of shots.
He was filming a vlog.
I was filming a vlog,
It was just going to be one of our vlogs.
But I decided to make it a little bit more fancy than a regular vlog. And I just happened to have a lot of really good footage, and I put it together, and they loved it.
It was a wedding video.
It was a wedding video, pretty much, yeah. It was like the makings of a first wedding video, and it turned out really good. I mean, toot my own horn, but it turned out great. Yeah.
For doing it with one camera, audio equipment.
No audio equipment.
Just this tiny little G7X, no tripod or anything.
And it's still one of the most emotional wedding videos I've done yet. Because it's so real.
My goal with every wedding video was to make people cry.
Exactly.
I like making people cry.
Out of happiness.
Or sadness. No, out of happiness. But I mean, if you can make people cry with your wedding videos, then you're doing a good job.
I tear up watching that wedding video. Like it's
I do
good.
too. Well,
and she does too.
I think it was just.
It has a lot to do with them writing their own vows.
Yes, their vows are really good.
Their vows were amazing.
And did she sing to him?
I think she did. Yeah.
And they did like a foot wash. She washed his feet, and it was so.
Just describing it makes me want to tear up a little bit. Like,
have you ever watched it before?
I think I did.
You should. It's Jeannie and Nick.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeannie and Nick. I don't know if it's on my channel or if I've moved it over to my Front Row Films CO channel.
Okay, so if you want to check
a little backstory.
If you want to check out their wedding videos, go to what is it?
Front Row Films CO or YouTube.
And what was the backstory?
Okay, so the backstory is my cousin and her husband, they had been dating a while, and my aunt, her mother, actually she has Alzheimer's, and she's very young. She's like 55 maybe. And she was progressing very, very quickly. And so they talked about it, and they knew they wanted to get married. They weren't engaged yet, but they knew they wanted to get married. But he was going to be starting medical school, and she's going to be starting nursing school. And so they talked about it, and they decided that they were going to get married. So they got engaged and got married in like 2 months.
Yeah.
So it was a very quick wedding because her mother was progressing very quickly with Alzheimer's, and they wanted her to at least to kind of be able to enjoy it, enjoy the wedding. And
yeah. But they're a fantastic couple. I mean...
Oh, yeah. So she was very young.
I wouldn't have been able to get married that young. She was...
well, he's a little older, but she was 19.
She was 19. Because she even says in her vows, turning 20 like next month or next week or something. Yeah.
It was a few weeks before her 20th birthday.
That's pretty young. But the weird thing is, I've talked to... I don't know if you guys have come across this, but I've talked to quite a few young people who go through infertility. I don't know if you see that a lot, but
it's the chicken nuggets.
Oh no! I ate a lot of chicken nuggets as a child.
That's what it is. I'm convinced.
Probably is.
She's convinced.
Because I mean, you see this huge influx of people like our age. I mean, I'm 30. I don't know how I don't know how old you are, but yeah, people our age around around this age range that are a lot are going. It's just like the numbers just keep going up and up and up, and I really think it has to do with our
pregnancy doctor. He is like the smartest person I've ever talked to, and he has done a lot of research about infertility, and he was telling. I wish I could interview him. I don't know if he would ever grant me an interview, but he told me that a lot of infertility was caused by BPA and like plastics from the 50s, and it just gets worse through the generations. Like our grandmothers must have had a lot of canned goods and like ate a lot of canned goods, and then I don't know. That's what he told me.
Speaking of that, my parents had infertility issues. Not necessarily as much as we have, but they did have to get help.
My mom, it took her and my biological father, it took them 2 years to get pregnant with me and a year for my brother, which doesn't seem normal to me. So, I mean, maybe my doctor was onto something about infertility being passed down. And then just getting worse.
Yeah, I think it is just getting worse.
So we need to have a lot of kids and adopt one too. So that we at least have one kid that's adopted that can have grandkids for us.
You were given an IVF grant through your fertility clinic. How did that happen? Like, how did this come about?
Well, I got to tell you a little bit of backstory first, but we finally decided, look, we're going to push for this. We're going to really try hard to have our own biological kid. So we did these t-shirts right here that I'm showing you. So we did those t-shirts. We put those up for sale. We did fundraisers. We pushed our GoFundMe. And for months and months, we were really trying to do everything we could to raise the money for IVF.
I have your cup.
We even looked into.
Sorry. I should have had your cup here. I totally forgot.
Yeah, that's cool. So we sold mugs, and you know, like you got one, so that's awesome. And we were just doing everything we possibly could in our power to make this happen. And we were at maybe $1,500. Okay. And we just wanted to get up to maybe 3,000 to 4,000. And then we were gonna go all the way to New York this summer. Like probably the next month we were planning on going to New York and taking that money because we found a place that would do it for 8,000 up there, full IVF for 8,000. So the t-shirts brought in a grand whopping total of about $500. Actually $550 to be exact. And we were grateful, but at the same time devastated because it was nowhere near the amount that we needed. Mm-hmm. And finally, I pretty much gave up. The song on the radio that is like, I know you can remove the pain, I know you can remove the mountain in front of me, but even if you don't, it's well with my soul. And I think that's finally the place that I got to in life. Like, this isn't gonna happen. I don't know how I'm gonna get a kid. My dream that I've had since I was 12 years old to be a father is just completely demolished. It's not gonna work. And I got to a point to where I could say, it is well with my soul. It is going to be okay. And then Kalyn got a call on her birthday. Mm-hmm.
I got a phone call and it was a voicemail because I was at work. And it said, hey, this is so-and-so from Preg, that's our fertility clinic. And we saw a video of yours and we would like to help you out with IVF. And I was like, and that was it. She's like, call me back. And I was like, okay. And so I told Robert to call because he's better with talking on the phone. I hate
talking on the phone too.
Yeah, we're like, who's the scam artist trying to get over on us, you know? Like, someone just watched our videos and they're trying to like...
So he called them back and she was like, she pretty much said, we're kind of part of this organization that gives out grants for IVF. And I forget what that organization was. She's like, and we're gonna try to get you one of those grants. I'll call you back in like a few days. And it was like a few days went by, and then like a week went by and we didn't hear, and we're like, we're not, like we were all excited and then we were like, we're not,
it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And she called back and she's like, well, I was not able to get you the grant.
Yeah.
But we want to help you out anyway, and we're gonna, the office is going to
do it for X amount of dollars, which they've actually asked us not to say because they can't do it for everyone, obviously. But they were like, we're gonna do it for X amount of dollars, and that X amount of dollars was still a long way away from what we had currently. So we went into the office and I sat down and she was, you know, just breaking down the price for me, and she said, you know what, we're gonna do it for the price that you have. And I said, what?
Yeah. She's like, whatever amount you have saved, that's what we're
doing it for. And just completely blown away. I mean, like, I started tearing up in front of her at the office in like the most uncomfortable chair ever.
Yeah.
You know, it was just crazy that someone is just so nice and so generous to just give us this gift. You know, and they haven't even asked us to do anything for it. They're not like, you got to make a promotional video for us or anything like that. They even asked us to keep the, you know, amount to ourselves and stuff like that. Like, they don't want us bragging, like, about them, you know, so.
Will they let you record your appointments?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Everyone in the office knows that we vlog. And so we take the camera in there every time. And Kalyn
your
even
video
asked.
Was so funny. The last one I saw was you were getting the STD.
Oh yeah, the STD panel. I was getting a shot.
Like,
I hate getting shots.
That was on Thursday.
Yeah.
He is the biggest wimp when it comes to getting
I hate getting shots.
Which I'm really nervous about him giving me the progesterone shots. Did Peter give you yours or did you give them to yourself?
I didn't do the progesterone and oil.
Oh, okay.
But he did give me all of my shots.
Okay.
And he did a good job.
Yeah. There's a video out there somewhere of me trying to give her a shot. And it's like, and she's like, stop, give it to me.
You just have to stab it in there.
Yeah, I can do it I don't mind doing it myself. Yeah. So I think I'm going to try to give myself the progesterone.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
You can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah. They are going to let you film, which is great. Yes. I didn't film our second round at the new clinic. I didn't know if they would let me. But a lot of doctors' offices don't let you film.
Yeah, they've always let us. Well, I don't know if IVF is going to be any different, but they've always let us film the IUIs.
Yeah.
We have the cameras in there. I would like to see what happens during the actual egg retrieval, because I've never seen that.
Kalyn was actually saying that we should maybe even do the transfer live, like on YouTube Live.
YouTube Live.
Yes, that'd be crazy. I've never seen that. You should do it. Yeah.
We should do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you should. You totally should.
I mean, you're not going to see me. You're just going to see like the little.
I mean, they got a gown over and everything, so
you're going to have to. Fun. You're going to have to pee so bad.
I know, that's insane.
I think that's one of the worst parts. Like, you have to pee so bad.
I wonder if anyone's ever peed on them before.
I don't know. Like, maybe.
Well, you have to go in the full bladder.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
And you're
Please don't pee on the doctor, especially not on YouTube Live. Please don't. Oh my gosh.
I'll try not to.
If you could record the retrieval, that'd be interesting, because I've never seen that.
I don't know if he would be able to, because I feel like he's not in there.
Or maybe a nurse or something.
Who's not in there? I'm not in there?
You're not in there during the retrieval.
Why not?
Well, you're doing your thing.
Oh.
You're
and
under.
we set up the tripod.
Yeah, I might be able to set up a tripod.
That would be great. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Like, they usually don't let the partner, whatever, whoever, like, in there to see it, because you're under general anesthesia, and I don't know if maybe you
there might be some liability.
But they said when they were wheeling me out, I was like, bye, Bob. I don't remember that at all, but it was
really
a good
nervous
nap.
about that part, because I've never been put under.
It was actually really nice. It was a nice nap. I woke up really refreshed, and I was like, that was really nice. And then when I got home, it was really painful. But being put under was actually really nice.
I just don't want to say anything dumb.
I want you to say dumb things. Like, that would be like 1 million views.
No.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
Oh, that would, if you guys could get it to record the retrieval, that'd be very interesting.
We'll have to talk to them about it. We should probably just talk to the doctor, and I mean, everyone knows that we bring our camera in there with us, and we probably should just talk to the doctor and be like, just so you know, like, we want to film this, and this, like, everything.
I want to see what the doctor sees. Like,
right?
What does that look like when they're sucking the eggs out of there?
We should say, like, people are demanding to see
demanding, yeah.
Tell them that Sarah wants to see them do the egg retrieval. Like, I want to see it.
4,000 of our subscribers are demanding,
We want to see it. Totally. I'm really hoping that happens.
I hope so too.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And where can people find you on the internet?
Type in Kalyn and Robert, but you got to spell it correctly. Kalyn and Robert. So Kalyn and Robert on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. If you just type us in, Kalyn and Robert, you'll find us right away.
Find them on YouTube. And I am Sarah. You can find me on YouTube at Sarah Loves Peter and Instagram at Sarah Loves Peter. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Adios.
Bye.